meeting to exit executive session.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Now call for a motion to enter into public session.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll begin tonight with our Falcons of the Month recognition.
First happy new year, everybody. I need to start always saying this when we do the Falcons. These are our favorite meetings of the year. The Board of Education loves the opportunity to honor our students who do an incredible job in their respective schools. So tonight we have the distinction of honoring our next group of Falcons of the Month. Each school in our district celebrates numerous students each and every month for being outstanding. We have asked our schools to select one individual from the many honored to represent the group. Therefore, the students we will be honoring tonight, they actually represent the best of the best. In other words, these students have personified exactly what it is that we're looking for in a Niagara Wheatfield Falcon. All of the certificates read the same way. I'm going to just read one. What will happen this evening is this. After I read your name, you're going to come up. I'm going to shake your hand. You're going to take the certificate. You're then going to walk down and shake the hands of everybody at the table there. Okay? So I'm going to start with reading the certificate. Whereas the philosophy of education of the Niagara Wheatfield Central School District calls for aiding all students in the development and achievement of their potential, and whereas the primary goals of the school district include encouraging each student to develop a sense of values, instill a feeling of responsibility to self and to others, as well as an appreciation of good citizenship, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Niagara Wheatfield Central School District hereby recognizes the following students. Our first student tonight that we'll be calling up is Daniel Ashby. Daniel. Next, we have Malia Gray. Next, we have Cora Mota. Next, we have Xander Jacobs. And next, we have Lily Daniels. And I know she's not here tonight, but Justina Osich, she was also one of our Falcons of the Month, so congratulations to Justina.
Okay, thank you very much. Congratulations to all our Falcons of the Month. We're going to take a short intermission. There's some cookies and punch in the back if you'd like to help yourself.
And if you would like to take a picture by the backdrop, you're also welcome to do that. And congrats once again.
Nice job, Lynn. All right. Good work. Congratulations. Good job.
Congratulations. Well, you can make it. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Still got a big crowd.
That's good. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Continuing on with our, anybody sign up for residents' comments? No. No. Anybody like to speak? Residents' comments? Okay. Please state your name and address.
My name is Jackson Tar. Address is 2434 Fulton Street. I've got a couple of documents I'd like to share with the board members, if that's okay.
Sure.
And then a statement to read. Please, if you don't mind. So there are two documents that are coming around. The first set is from the grade 3 ELA assessments from spring of 2025. There's a scoring rubric included. And there are what they call guides. We used to call them exemplars in Texas. Essentially, they're 2 out of 2 responses, right? The second document that you should have received includes the question itself with the reading passage, as well as the question, as well as a student's response. That student's response was scored 2 out of 2. So what I'd ask you to do is, if you don't mind, have a look at the student's response versus the exemplar side by side. Now, for the sake of time, to respect my 3 minutes, I'd like to read my statement, and I can leave copies for you if that's okay. This statement respectfully requests the board's attention to potential scoring inconsistencies in the 2025 New York State Grade 3 ELA assessment, specifically within constructive response items. The district doesn't score the assessment. Scoring is done and conducted by a contracted vendor that receives payment for their services. Given this arrangement, accuracy, consistency, and transparency are essential to protect students and to uphold assessment integrity. As I noted, I've provided you with 2 documents. One is the rubric, the guide, so on. The other is an actual student's response. Primary concern for me as a parent: inaccurate or inconsistent scoring can have direct educational consequences. When scores do not reliably reflect student performance, students who need targeted interventions, including but not limited to literary support, literacy support, small group instruction, supplemental services, they may not be identified accurately. Conversely, students may be misidentified for supports that they do not require. These mismatches affect instructional placement, eligibility determination, progress monitoring, resource allocation, and ultimately, it can undermine equity in student outcomes. I have 2 requests. One is transparency and documentation. I think it's important to require the scoring vendor that we've hired, essentially, to provide written protocols for their scoring, their quality control measures, inter-rater reliability statistics. And then secondly, independent audit. Commission an independent audit of a statistically valid sample of these constructed response examples, including the one I've provided. Have them scored blind by trained educators using the NYSED rubric. compare those findings to what the vendor provided. On conclusion, vendor-based scoring demands rigorous oversight. The attached rubric, guide papers, and student response together indicate a plausible scoring inconsistency that merits review. Prompt action will help students who require intervention and are appropriately identified and supported. And it'll also ensure that assessment results remain a trustworthy foundation for instructional decision-making. So if you don't mind, I'll hand out a copy of my statement, so you have it if you want to refer. That's all I have.
Sure, thank you. Okay, moving on to our consensus agenda items. I'll call for a motion to accept consensus agenda items 1 through 10 as presented. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. I'll call for a motion to accept personnel items 1 through 47 as presented. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carried. Moving on to our standing committees, capital projects.
Yeah, we as a group, committee, we were able to review the auditorium. And, it's starting to take shape. We're kind of, it looks like we're gonna be close to down the wire, getting to our due date, but, it's really starting to take shape. You can actually see what, the infrastructure is pretty much done. It's just doing, all the chairs and everything else, the surrounding area. We also went to the tech room in the high school, and that's completed now, so that's up and running, and so it's starting to look good there with the tech rooms that we got now in the middle school and the high school. And that's about all I have for now.
Thank you very much. There's an external written communication to the board, a informational item for fundraiser. Move on to our ex officio student membership board.
Hello, I would like to say that for the last week of December, we had a fantastic Spirit Week with all the students at the high school, and I thought it was fantastic. And everyone, from what I'm seeing, is very happy to get back to school, and they're doing all really well. And that's all.
Thank you very much. President's reports. I don't have much other than our NOSPA legislative breakfast is coming up at the end of the month on the 31st, Saturday, 8:30, I believe it begins, and the program starts at 9. Which is so, whoever can make it, appreciate that coming out. And with that, I will pass it to our superintendent.
Thank you. I'll start with a happy new year to everybody. Certainly happy to have all the students back. But I want to go back to 2025 for just a minute. At the end of 2025, before we left before students left for the break, there was a high school music concert and that I was able to attend. Our students sounded awesome. I mean, just here, but they did an incredible job. It was a wonderful night. Great event to be part of just prior to the holidays. And the week prior, our high school play, the students did an outstanding job. So just hats off to them, to the teachers, for the work that they did, getting our kids ready for all that, particularly during that busy season for many. Bob talked a little about the auditorium. I do want to say this. One of the things we're really hoping for is to be able to have our musical in the auditorium. We also know that we need to make sure that the auditorium is ready and that we can make it so that a musical will work. We have set a date at the end of January to make that determination. SUNY Niagara has been holding the dates for the district. If we have to have it at SUNY Niagara, we'd of course love to have it here in our auditorium, but we can and will only wait so long. There's a lot of things that are impacted by the date of the musical. In other words, our sports season, the students who are participating are doing that. Once they get a few weeks into that, it's a lot harder for them to do both. So we'll see where we're at. What I won't do is push that work to the point where it's not getting done right, or push that work to where it's done, but we don't get a chance to get in there and practice and know that all the equipment's going to work, because these kids work way too hard to not have our equipment that's in the auditorium work. So those are the things that we use to make this decision. Okay. In your folders, you should have a draft joint management team calendar. For those not familiar, the joint management team are the 4 BOCES that our BOCES is one of the 4 that we're connected to. Those 4, the 4 BOCES all put together this calendar. Idea being we share a lot of programs locally, and the goal is to align our calendar as closely with their calendar as possible, so that our kids aren't missing out on things when they participate in the BOCES programs. You might remember last year me saying that next year is going to be a lot different. If you notice, the first thing that you'll notice when you look on the calendar are those 3 dates that are in red are all in September this year. Those are our professional development days. Normally those are in August. The reason they're not in August is because our students come back the day after Labor Day. The day after Labor Day is the 8th. Labor Day is as late as it can ever be, the 7th. Okay, so what that means is it compresses the number of days that we have to get our 188 days in. Some districts have 185 days, 176 days, 189 days, right? We have 188 days. We have to get our 188 in. It just so happens that our BOCES, Orleans Niagara, just went to 188 day calendar as well. Many in the JMT have approximately that number. This draft calendar is actually based off of 188 days. My recommendation is that we take this calendar as it is. You don't have to make that decision tonight if you don't want to. You can certainly take a look at it, make any recommendations, any changes. It's certainly the board's discretion. I will say 2 things to note that are very different for next year. And again, it's because of that compressed schedule. If you look at November, and I think our families, our kids, probably our staff have become spoiled that the day right before Thanksgiving has been off for a number of years. Okay, that's not the case. And then if you look at December, the day before Christmas Eve, we've had off for a number of years. That's not the case for next year. Okay, those are the things that I would highlight. If you have any questions, I'll certainly take those. If you want to act on it, that's up to you under new business, or you can certainly make the next meeting. On January 20th, the Erie Niagara School Superintendents Association is hosting an electrification seminar. Okay, we've asked National Grid, NYSEG, NYSERDA to all take part. We're looking for their expertise. This is not about the buses themselves. Okay, everybody knows they cost more. Everybody knows all those things. What we're looking to get from them is a good understanding of where the current technology is now, as far as the ability to electrify the fleets that need to be electrified, right? So we're looking to get that information. We're looking at what the future soon next couple of years, technology might bring. And we're looking at what they believe the upgrades are that need to take place for the electric companies, but also for the districts. Now, we invited the 98 districts in Western New York to take part. Each one's able to bring 3 representatives. There's 4 of us who are part of the NISCUS Legislative Committee that we're going to be the ones facilitating that day with the questions with the group. This is not a in any way an attempt to put these people in bad position when they come to speak to us. We want to know from them what they believe is capable and what the potential is in near future, because all of us districts will need to start making decisions about what we're going to do with our buses. Now, many of us are in the process of getting our individual surveys back. As a matter of fact, Deanna and I just got our verbal report on Monday, Tuesday. It's been a long day. That was yesterday. Okay. And we should be getting the final version of that sent over to us. They're also going to send us the presentation that they provided to us that we can then share with you. But my thought is that we get through our budget season and then we talk about it. We will talk about it a little bit once we get the report, but that we then get through our budget season, then we really talk about it, because it would be something that we'd really be considering for next year's budget and the future budgets. Okay. I sent something to all the members of the board asking if you're interested. Bob sent me something, said he was interested. One more person could come along if you are. If you're not, I'll certainly ask Deanna if she'd like to attend. But I'll certainly be there, but I'd have to be. Anybody interested at this point when you look at your calendar? January 20th, 1 to 2:30. But good. So you're, I'll send you everything. Deanna, check your calendar, okay? Jason already mentioned the legislative breakfast. Tonight, we will talk a little bit about finance. We're not going to give an official budget presentation until our next meeting. And next month, we have BOCES coming to do a presentation here to our group. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Moving on to reports to the board, finance report.
Go right ahead.
So we are working on compiling the budget information that we can at this time. The departments and the buildings have their budgets due to me next week. And so we're working on the salaries and all those projections. We're still waiting on initial state aid numbers. And some components of the property tax calculating that calculation, which will help us determine our threshold for our budget. So.
And I'll just add that the expectation or what we're seeing out there right now is that the executive budget, which is the governor's budget, and for those that don't know, in New York State, what happens is the governor will put out a budget, and then after that, the legislature will then put out their one-house budgets. Okay, so the executive budget we're expecting to come out at the end of January.
Thank you. The items for board discussion. The old business. New business. Does anyone have any particular feelings on this? Of wanting to review it any longer and prepared to take a vote? Okay. All right,
Steve, you won on 2 weeks in a row though, didn't you?
Yeah, in Easter.
Thanks
Thanks for bringing that up, Bob.
okay, with that, I'll call for a motion to accept the JMT regional calendar as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Any other new business, anybody? Okay, any other public comments? Nope, good.
I'm so sorry. Can I?
Yep.
One more thing. And I meant to start with this. This morning, and this is for particularly the families at Colonial Village. This morning, after students were already in the middle of being picked up, we found out that the power was out, the power went out. We obviously had an important decision to make. We would never just turn those buses around. We don't know if they're going back to empty houses. We bring all the kids in, get them in, get them breakfast, and then make a determination as to whether or not we're gonna send them home. Normally, when the power goes out, it's 30 minutes, an hour. Our partners with the electric company, they know it's the school. They try to get on that one first, right? This one, they told us that it was gonna be 5 to 6 hours. So we made sure that we put out another communication to families saying that we believe that we may end up having to send students home. We were gonna make that decision at about 11 o'clock, and then we'd start sending them home about 11:30. About 15 minutes before 11 o'clock, I got a call saying that power should be up in a minute. It wasn't a minute, it was a long 7 minutes, I think. But whatever that was, we were all waiting. The power did go back on, we were able to keep kids. I just want everybody to know, our goal is always to keep kids here. Particularly when it comes to elementary kids, when they're here for the day, sending them home, even after we send multiple messages, we don't know that all the parents get those messages. And so it's always a concern for us. We want our kids to be here. We want to be able to educate them. We don't want to send them home. We're not looking to send them home when something like that happens. Our goal, we have emergency power. Our goal is to let that go until the regular power kicks back on and keep kids in. But the real reason I wanted to talk about all of that was because I wanted to say, thank you. I was on the phone during all of these conversations, but I was actually out of the district, to Tom and Deanna. They did an incredible job leading today. Jeff Casisha, who's the principal of Colonial Village, who was here tonight to honor one of the students. He did a phenomenal job, and our staff, they just respond incredibly well. I want to thank Mark Plasek, Dave Caldwell, our electrician. They got all over it really quick. I'm like, who am I missing, Deanna? Probably a lot of people, but you know, the group and you know, our food service, our transportation, they were all ready. Okay, we had multiple plans on how we're gonna feed kids, how we're gonna feed them differently, if we needed to, how we're gonna use other schools. So that's the kind of work that goes into it, but they did an outstanding job today, and I just want to tip my hat to them.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on, any public comments? And board member comments tonight?
I just want to acknowledge if you saw with our personnel agenda, the number of retirees that we had on there and the names that were on there. For many of us that had kids that go through the district, you'll probably recognize a lot of those names, just because they're a lot of those teachers that have been here for a while, and they're getting picked on our kids. And I just want to congratulate all of them on their retirement and their service, and thank them for their service to the district for all these years and what they've meant to Niagara Wheatfield.
We will honor them, like, remember. You want to mention that in June, we always honor.
Right, and we have the honorees in June for them, but I just wanted to, because it's on our agenda tonight, I wanted to just put that up.
Good. Anybody else? All right. With that, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Thank you.